Hey there friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade No Hallmark. Today I've got a fun flat shaker card featuring some simple ink blending and some Glimmer hot foil. I was really excited to give this technique a try. Amy Rasavi, she gets us all going on some new techniques and it worked out great. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my background all ready, and so this card is basically a giant experiment. I really wanted to try out the Glimmer hot foil on top of some of that packing paper, or packing sheet. And I know Amy Rasavi has done a lot of videos with that, and it turned out really wonderful, and it worked out great for her, and it worked out great for me. So I wanted to give it a try and share with you how I got to the end point of this card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my back panel ink blended, I've got some layering snowflake stencils from Simon Says Stamp and a piece of Nina Desert Storm cardstock. And I've got some Hero Arts white, unicorn white pigment ink. Now you could easily just use a background stamp and stamp down a really pretty snowy background, but I really wanted to do some ink blending, and I haven't really used a whole lot of white pigment ink in quite a long time. So I'm just going and adding on a really nice heavy layer of some white pigment ink on top of this craft cardstock. I really love the way that white looks on top of craft. I think it looks really vibrant and really kind of, I don't really know, it kind of reminds me of some wrapping paper I've seen. I think I purchased some for my kids last year, but it's like a craft color and it's got white on it, and I felt like that looked so neat, so kind of antique and just different kind of wrapping paper. You usually see something really shiny or really heavy plastic, but this was actually like a craft, which I thought was really, really cool. So I'm just going to hit it with my heat gun here just to make sure that the pigment ink has a really good opportunity to dry, because I'm going to go over and the top of this with some glitter paste. I'm not going to do glitter paste over the whole thing. I'm going to do it just on portions of it. So this is a layering set, so you can add different layers, and so I'm using just the small pieces. As you can see, I struggled trying to figure out which way this went on. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just couldn't figure out where it went. I don't know. I'm telling you, I struggled a little bit. Again, this whole video in this card was a complete experiment. So I started out with this background and I just kind of played around with what I wanted to do, and it morphed into foiling. So I definitely wanted to use glitter paste, but I didn't want it to be all over the card. I didn't want to go crazy with it. I just wanted it to be an accent. So I lined that back up and I went in with the Hero Arts white glitter paste, and I put some press and seal on it. Amy teaches us all that we need to put press and seal on things, because I have lost some glitter paste. I had some really pretty red and some other white, and it totally was ruined because it didn't seal up very good. So I'm using some press and seal, folks. It works great. I'll make sure it's linked down in the description so you guys can get your hands on some. Once I get that nice layer on there, get my glitter all closed up, I can go clean off my stencils. Again, it's really subtle. It's just a little bit in the background to add some interest. Now I'm going to set that off to the side to dry, and I'm going to work on my foiling. So again, it did work. The foiling on top of this packaging, this is probably just from a stamp set or some paper that I purchased. It does work, and it works beautifully. But for some reason, I went all the way to Timbuktu and back to figure out how I wanted to do it. So I got this Merry Christmas from our house, or from our home to yours, in a Spellbinders set that I purchased. I think I have it on my recent haul video, but this is probably the first time that I got it to work really, really good. Because at first I was just going to do like an overlay and use some embossable window plastic, but it does not like the foil on that. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm not doing it right, but it definitely does not like the foil on it. So I went to this plastic sheeting and it foiled beautifully. So don't do a me. Don't use any embossable plastic because for some reason it didn't work for me. Hey, it could work for you, but it didn't work for me. I just went straight to this plastic and it worked phenomenally. So once that was all done and I had everything put away and my background panel was nice and dry, I'm going to make a flat shaker. I love flat shakers. They're super easy to make. You can knock them out real fast, and I felt like this card was a good, kind of a good way to create a nice shaker card for you guys. I haven't done one in a really long time, so I really definitely wanted to have one in my series this year. And it's super simple to make. You just use this window plastic and some score tape. I don't recommend using any kind of liquid glue. You want to use a nice dry adhesive for these. And you just kind of encase your background in the plastic, kind of like you're wrapping a present or a gift. Again, that score tape works wonderfully, or any type of tape runner. I do recommend kind of cutting the corners a little bit so that it folds a little bit nicer. You don't have to worry about anything leaking out. This seals it all in really, really well. Especially once you put it on your card base, nothing's going to come out of that. So once I had that in place, I kept the top open so I could fill it with all of my shaker material. All of this stuff is just some random things from my stash. I've got a bunch of different sequins from different companies. I do have a few that have names on them. Some of them don't because I've had them for quite a while. So I'm just kind of going in and filling in. Of course, you know I have to add in my favorite little snowflakes, just because it's a snowflake card and you can't have a snowflake card without some snowflakes. So I did add just a few of those in there. They have a tendency to stick together really and kind of lift up on each other when they're in a shaker. So you kind of I try to keep it minimal when it comes to these snowflakes. Once I am happy with the amount of fill I have in here, I did add a few gold ones just to kind of go with the gold that's on the front of the card. This comes from one of my favorite sequin sets. Again, I just wanted to add a few gold pieces on the inside of the card. I think some seed beads and some glitter would be really pretty in here. That's one of the great things about these flat shakers, is that you can add glitter to them and you don't have to worry about it seeping out, which I think is really fun because I am not a glitter fan. Not loose glitter. Definitely not a fan of loose glitter. I'm going to go ahead and trim off those corners so that it folds down nicely. And just fold that top piece down. Trim off the rest and you've got a fun flat shaker. I just love playing with these. My little boy loves to shake them around as well. And he can shake them. He really can, and they don't fall apart. I have no issues with them whatsoever. Gonna get all of my other stuff put away here so I can get my card base ready. This is just a top folding A2 size card base, and for some reason I was not feeling like using my Scor-Pal, which I totally regret. I don't know if I was in a hurry this day or what was going on, but I was just not feeling using my tools or nothing. Gonna get my Misty out here and stamp a greeting on the inside. I'm going to use a greeting from that same inside greetings from Simon Says Stamp. Again, all of the supplies that I use will be listed in the description below. I love this little greeting. I felt like it went really nicely with the kind of theme of my card, kind of very whimsy, and I went with a greeting on the outside as well. Going to stamp that down using some snow cone ink. I know it's really hard to see on here, but it comes through as a really nice pale blue. May your heart be filled with cheer. And of course, a shaker card's going to fill your heart with cheer just because it's fun. Going to go ahead and clean my stamp off, get it put away. And I love all of the greetings in this set. They're just so wonderful, and I love all the different fonts and things. Going to use some more score tape here to adhere my shaker card. Now you could use liquid adhesive on this part to glue it down. It'll give you a little bit of wiggle room if you're trying to line things up, but I just went ahead with some more score tape since I already had it out. remove the backing paper. I really do like this score tape from 3M. It works out wonderfully. I have no issues with the backing. And here I struggled a little bit to get everything lined up, kind of, because this is a full cover shaker. And it didn't get it quite lined up, so I very carefully peeled it off. And got it nice and lined up. And a little bit of, hanging over there at the bottom, but I just brought out my scissors here, trim that off, and that will finish up this card for today. I really hope you enjoyed this really quick, simple flat shaker card featuring some hot foiling and some really simple ink blending. I had a lot of fun creating this card, working with my hot foils again, and it's a fun shaker card. So hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch up with you guys again real soon. Bye!
On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Consider hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos at my YouTube channel.